A stunning intelligence revelation is sending shockwaves through Europe and NATO. According to newly leaked Danish defense documents, the United States Army has been quietly seeking detailed intelligence on key Danish military installations in Greenland. The reported targets include airfields, ports, and strategic facilities that could be used in a military invasion of the island. The report, first revealed by Denmark's Berlingske newspaper, alleges that American intelligence agencies have been collecting highly sensitive data on Greenland's defenses. These actions are said to directly violate long-standing bilateral agreements between Copenhagen and Washington, agreements built on trust between NATO allies. Greenland, an autonomous Danish territory in the Arctic, is sparsely populated but strategically immense, with just 56,000 residents. The world's largest island sits atop vast mineral resources and occupies a critical military position between North America, Europe, and the Arctic Ocean. At the center of this escalating controversy is President Donald Trump. For months, Trump has openly argued that Greenland is vital to American national security. He claims U.S. control of the island is necessary to counter growing Russian and Chinese influence in the Arctic, a region increasingly shaped by climate change and new shipping routes. And I may do that for Greenland too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that. I'll give you a little, I'll take you out of in fact, that'll end up being the story. But actually, this is a much bigger story because we're reducing healthcare by numbers that you haven't seen. Denmark has flatly rejected that argument. So have Russia and China. All three deny that Greenland poses any strategic threat requiring American intervention. European leaders warned that Washington's stance risks destabilizing Arctic security and rewriting international law by force. The fallout has been swift and severe. Trump's push for Greenland has reportedly triggered deep fractures within NATO as European allies push back against any attempt to alter the island's status. Officials warned that the unity of the alliance itself is now under strain. The last days have also seen increased pressure on Denmark and Greenland. We will debate this later this week, but it is important to say this. The European Union supports Denmark and the people of Greenland, and we do so united in our resolve. The measures threatened over the weekend by the United States administration will not help improve security in the Arctic. In fact, they risk the opposite. Greenland and Denmark have both made clear that Greenland is not for sale and that their sovereignty and territorial integrity needs to be respected. That fact will not change. When we welcomed the Prime Minister of Greenland to this chamber only a few months ago, we told him that when the people of Greenland look to Europe, they will find understanding and partnership. I reiterate that now because, friends, I know many here believe in the transatlantic relationship, in our partnership with the United States. I know many people in the US share that belief too. We understand the need for Europe to take on more responsibility when it comes to defense and security, including doing more to protect the Arctic, and we have boosted defense measures and spending. As a result, we know that transatlantic and Arctic security can be achieved without the destabilizing impact of calling Greenland and Denmark's sovereignty into question, or through measures like tariffs. We know that every serious global issue we must address is better faced when Europe and the United States act in sync with each other. In a dramatic escalation, the White House announced new tariffs on 8 European NATO countries. The list includes Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Finland. These nations had sent symbolic military contingents to Greenland just days earlier, a move Washington interpreted as resistance to Trump's ambitions. Analysts now say the intelligence gathering may signal something far more serious. Danish authorities are said to be alarmed, fearing the surveillance could be linked to political coercion or even preparations for the use of force. The concern is not hypothetical. Greenland's infrastructure is limited, and control of its airfields and ports would be crucial in any military operation. Intelligence on those locations would provide a strategic blueprint for rapid deployment in the Arctic. Denmark's Foreign Minister, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, has broken his silence on the scandal. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal, he delivered a stark message to Washington, saying he was deeply worried and reminding allies that friends do not spy on friends. We are absolutely certain of that, is that if we don't provide a strong response, we'll inevitably send a signal of weakness. I was in Washington last week, and I actually had a meeting with his vice president. I felt that was as close to Trump as one could possibly get, at least for me. The question of whether we should now sit down and examine if we can resolve this in a way that accommodates reasonable American wishes, because there's a new situation developing in the Arctic, and it will likely only worsen if we look a generation ahead without crossing our red lines. It was then shattered by these extremely violent statements from the president, and it is really, really important that all of us who believe in international rule of law speak out to show Trump that you can't go any further down this road.